Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 302, Space 1999, Looking for That Habitable Planet. And with me tonight to discuss this fun topic is my friend, and he is also a member and founding member of Space 1999's Props and Ships, my friend, Mr. Gordon Moriguchi. Hey, Gordon.
Good evening. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on, Roy. Appreciate
Absolutely. This is going to be fun, Gordon.
I have my Alpha Moonbase technical notebook during the episode guide to go through each one of the pages to chit-chat with all of the folks that want to also chit-chat about why Koenig and the Alphans didn't make a decision on, well, what about this one? Well, what about this one? There was a lot of them, both seasons, that they probably had a pretty good opportunity to habitate on that particular planet. So that's why we're here. We're going to be talking about it. I wouldn't say we're going to be bashing, but you fans know the deal.
And of course, I just want to interject real quickly. With that said, folks, this is going to be a discussion about series season 1 and 2, and we're just going to be having an open conversation. So we are not favoring either season, as I have said in many social media posts and also on different shows. I am a fan and of both. I feel that Space 1999 is series 1 and 2. So anyway, we're going to have some fun, and we're just going to look at the opportunities that were presented to the Alphans and kind of maybe some missed opportunities goes along with it. And a way of saying that, right, Gordon?
Well, yeah. So it all started right with Abe Mandel, who made Jerry Anderson stick with the promise that, well, you can't be doing any kind of filming on Earth. Although he went back on his promise for one episode, and that was Dragon's Domain when he did a flashback. Well, actually 2 episodes, really. Journey to Where and Flashback for Dragon's Domain. So,
and to be fair, Dragon's Domain was the second to the last episode of the first series too. So it was really at the tail end of that. And ironically enough, now there's the irony. When it comes to fans, many fans and even watchers of the show that were maybe not, deep watchers of the show, it's the episode that's really remembered, probably the most, or one of the most, right up there with Breakaway, I would say, just, because the Breakaway being, the one that, started the whole thing off. But Dragon's Domain was really the go-to episode. Basically, all of us as 8, 9, 10-year-olds were scarred for life back then.
A little bit of a traumatic episode, to say the least. Yeah,
one of my favorites. I want to just say hi to some of the folks that are joining us, and then we'll get right into the discussion too. Yeah. Chris is joining us from Louisville. Hey, Chris.
Howdy, Chris. Well, I guess you're going to be going to Wonderfest again this year.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't seen Chris since, when was that? Was that 2023?
23, I think, when Jeffrey Morris went there first.
Yeah.
He was there first. His first time.
3 years ago already. Crazy.
Yeah.
Jeff Rubel is out there, and he's saying, "Oh, goody!" Co-hosted by Greg Sanderson. Hey, guys.
So true. Now, to be honest with you, I still cherish his technical manual expansion book. I wonder if he's going to actually put that out again. Roy, I didn't know if you had the opportunity to see that book. It's a really good book. I'll dig it up real quick while we're. If you want to say hello to some other folks.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. I want to say hi to May, who's joining us from Canada. Welcome, May. Oh yes, of course. Yes, I forgot about Jeff's book. Yeah,
this book is amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. Anyway, as you were.
No, thanks for giving him a plug for that. Marianne is out there. Hey, Marianne, thanks for joining us. And also Diana's out there joining us from South Jersey.
Hey, Diana.
And happy birthday to your kitten. Well, actually, he's not your kitten anymore, but he's as you put it, your old guy. Happy birthday to him. Jeff Rubel, technically another time, another place too.
True.
Hey, Lou. Lou's joining us from Rhode Island. Welcome. Great to see you out there.
It isn't the original 44-inch Eagle builder for a replica.
Right there. There it is.
Yep. And it's all glory.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Marianne said, "Lucky for me, I was 17 when Dragon's Domain was on, as I thought the monster was pretty cool."
Yeah.
And Chris said, "Good to see you, Roy and Gordon." Thanks, Chris. We appreciate that.
As monsters go, I know we're not here to talk about monsters, but as monsters go, I mean, good grief, that was the monster of the whole show. Goodness, talk about traumatic childhood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Diana said, "Hey." Sherry's saying hi, hun. She's downstairs. And Diana said, "Oh, thank you. How's your baby doing, Roy?" Marblehead is doing great. She is doing much better. Thanks, Diana, for all your concern and asking too. Yeah, it's crazy that was 2 weeks ago. It was.
Did you get a new cat?
No, but what happened was we had to bring her to the animal hospital.
Oh.
And she's going to be 17 in the end of the month. But yeah, she's doing so much better.
That's good.
It was a blessing. So, but thanks everyone, and thanks for your concerns. Dragon's Domain. Oh my God.
Yeah, another thing that I always like to talk about Dragon's Domain is that they could have made that a 2-part episode. They probably should have made it a 2-part episode. It could have been a movie. It really was well done. Really good story. I love the flashbacks. A very good paced storytelling story.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it is absolutely one of my faves.
That's a very good point about 2 parts. That would have been an excellent 2-part episode because there was so much crammed into that. that it really was. It was very detailed, and just going back and giving us the foundation of exactly what was going on. And it gave us the opportunity to see Koenig in a different light. He wasn't as, I'll say, stoic. I mean, he was just kind of more easygoing, and he was more of an adventurer. Not that he wasn't later on, but he didn't have the responsibility of being the commander either. You know, he was an astronaut, and it was
with Armageddon happening and the moon blowing out of the Earth's orbit and all that. Yeah, underneath the weight of his command. Yeah.
So that had not happened yet. So it was good to see him in a different perspective, and I think Martin Landau really handled that well. And really, if you think about it, he didn't have a lot of time to develop that character, because I mean, the screen time for the whole episode is 52 minutes, and that was only a short flashback. But he really worked well with that.
It did. It very much did. But anyway, To Find a Habitable Planet. I guess we didn't really get the opportunity to see too much about Ultra, did we?
No, in fact, you know what? That I actually don't have that on our list. That would have been a potential, possibly, because that was something that they had picked out. And
of the then known solar system.
Exactly. And how unfortunate that those ships have moved, or this moon has moved, and those ships could have too.
That episode had Muff written all over it. It really did. Absolutely. And for those folks who don't know what Muff is, Mysterious Unknown Force.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little Starlog coined slogan that we kind of adopted.
Yeah. If we're going in order, we might as well start with Breakaway. And
I guess we could talk a little bit about meta, right?
Yeah.
So that was a total missed opportunity, and let's just not even talk about it after that first episode. We're not going to talk about it at all, right? Meta, whatever.
Let me ask you a question, Gordon. And I know from talking to David Hirsch, this was not the intent, but going in production order, in my mind, I always thought perhaps, and I know it was not the writer's intent. I always thought A Matter of Life and Death perhaps could have been meta, in the sense that it was episode 2. They come across Lee Russell, so it was like the perfect setup, but yet they didn't go in that direction, and I felt it was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the same argument could be for Rory Daughtry's as Commissioner Simmons on episode 4 for the Earthbound.
Yep.
To where they're trying to make individual episodes that are going to be mixed up in syndication, so it's really hard to carry on an arc. They managed to do it with Bringers of Wonder in year 2 for the 2-part episode, but nevertheless, I think that their whole ambition was to not create any kind of arc and have every episode storytelling standing on its own. So one way or the other, that I think that there were some serious missed opportunities there from crappy reasons.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting? And you know, when we would watch these shows in the 70s, and watch shows from the 60s in the 70s or even the 80s, whenever you watched it, anytime there was, and I've talked about this before, but and I'll use the original series of Star Trek as an example. They really didn't connect the dots unless it was a 2-part episode. And case in point, the Menagerie, part 1 and part 2. Or there was the one time where there was a reference to Devil in the Dark. It was in the episode with Lee Merriweather that she guest starred in the 3rd season. They referenced the Horda. But it was something that it really did not happen very much. But when it did, it was like, oh my God, that's so cool. They referenced a previous episode. Yeah. So we got a little bit of a taste of it. And when they did it, to me personally, I thought, this is so cool. However, fast forward 40, 50 years later, and then they beat the hell out of it and they went in the other direction, where you have these large story arcs and everything. And it's like, if you missed a couple of episodes, you were pretty much fried, because you had to seen those past episodes.
Yeah, same thing with when Koenig said, back what we did in 1999, say Inspector, dealing with the nuclear waste and whatever, because they were going to redirectionalize or steer the moon by blowing, a little bit of exhaust, nuclear explosion, making it exhaust, moving the moon in a different direction so it doesn't hit Tora, or whatever. Now that's a planet that that's ironic. It's funny that I would use Sanderson as the main theme, but he always talked about habitable planet, and that was not one.
No, that definitely wasn't one. But to your point, though, when Koenig actually references 1999, when he says that, the way this all started, I was like, oh, wow, that is so cool, because there's actually a reference to 1999 in the second year.
Yep.
Because they kind of got away from that. Whereas
big time. Because they wouldn't even reference Paul or Kano or Victor or anything like that,
No, and throughout the first year, there were a lot of references of the moon being blown out of the Earth's orbit, or we had no idea, and then with Ara, Koenig is talking to Ara, telling her about how nobody could have foreseen that, and she's saying it's destiny, and that's one example. And then
another muff.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I see Warren is out there. He's saying now, Warren, I was not aware of this, so okay, this is interesting. Lee Russell was mentioned in early breakaway drafts. There was the intent, at least early on, to create as in-universe timeline. Terra Nova was originally supposed to be meta. Now that I did not know. Okay, if that is, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, appreciate that, but that still doesn't change the fact that breakaway still disregarded meta altogether.
Yeah,
kind of sucked. It's like, so that's that. There's your breakaway reference right there.
Yeah, no, and you're right. They never went with it. Hey, I want to say hi to Dennis Chevalier. He's joining us from Canada, and also, like I said, welcoming Warren out there. He's joining us from Canada as well, and Warren will be on with us a little later into the broadcast, and he's going to be giving us an update about, speaking about things, the Space 1999 convention, Manchester 1999, and he'll also be speaking about the Space 1999 fan film, Return to Moonbase Alpha. So that'll be a little later. Cool. Diana commented, I always wondered what happened to the Swift from Brian the Brain. Couldn't they have used that to go looking? Yeah, absolutely. That's a valid point, Diana.
The funny thing about the utilizing other technologies, I think the one thing that was emphasized in year 2, and it was only in year 2 that they emphasized this, was that that microscope looking thing that they got off of the derelict spaceship in Space Warp. They actually somehow put it on the Eagle. Well, they did that in the episode, and then they made it work, and then they used it over and over again.
In Devil's Planet, they used it when he's like looking through. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but you know what? At least there
was something.
It was something. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Chris commented, he said, the Sand Spectre is one of my favorite episodes. Tor could not be colonized due to its environmental conditions. It's actually one of my favorites too, Chris. And also, like what Gordon was saying in regards to Dragon's Domain being a 2-part episode, I always felt that the Seance Spectre should have been a 2-part episode, because I think there would have been so much more that could have been delved into in regards to the environmental team, the exploration team, excuse me, that Sanderson was a part of. And, we really didn't hear about these other Alphans, kind of like Star Trek: The Next Generation. As you know, I always reference Trek. It's kind of like Lower Decks. It's like the other Alphans, the Alphans that are not like, at the top of the chain, and seeing how they conduct themselves. I mean, we got a taste of it in Force of Life when we were introduced to Anton Zoroff and Eva Zoroff.
Yep.
Things like that are really cool.
Yeah, Catacombs of the Moon with Osgood.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Michelle.
I mean, we could go on and on about that.
Yeah. So so that's meta for Breakaway, to your point. And then we just really matter of life and death in regards to that planet. I don't think that was going to happen. I mean, Koenig was actually pushing for that planet, and he was.
Well, I mean, if you had all those parrots floating around in some really cool environment like they ended up with after the Eagle landing, and then all you think about is Dust in the Wind from Kansas. Oh, I'm just kidding. That came after, but they used that in the video.
Yeah.
Parrots, though, good grief. What I would have loved to have stayed there too. That's like paradise, why not? That would have been neat.
It would have been. I mean, it was really the way they actually set it up at the beginning and everything. It was like almost like the perfect world, or as Koenig would say, maybe too perfect.
Yeah, maybe that's true. So I guess we fast forward to Do we want to talk about Ring Around the Moon? Because, I mean, they were talking about the planet they came from, Triton.
But that Triton had been, I didn't have that on the list as far as a slide, but I didn't mention it because Triton, according to Bergman, had disintegrated. It was no longer in existence. So to me, it was kind of a missed opportunity. It wasn't even a missed opportunity. It just didn't exist. That probe was outdated in the sense that it encountered the Alphans and was causing all that turmoil.
And I still found it rather interesting that they managed to, in the nick of time, get out of that sphere before it blowed up real good.
Yeah, well, that's
and it was the only time you get to see some lights off of the Eagle, not just out of the windows of the command module, but on the landing gear. That was kind of neat.
That was very, very cool. Next on your list, I think episode 5 is Earthbound and the Kaldorians.
Yeah. So it's been a long time since I've seen that amazing Christopher Lee episode. Did they actually mention why they were, going to Earth? Were they leaving their own planet for some reason?
I believe that they were leaving their own planet to attempt colonization. And believe it or not, now this is, I think I shared that. I told this to Warren. I think he was laughing at me. I didn't realize this is going to be really funny, folks. And I'm coming clean here on this. I didn't realize that the Kaldorians were 3 men and 3 women. I didn't. They looked. I guess they looked unisex, is what I'm trying to say, because they looked the same. I mean, I didn't pick up on the distinction. I guess maybe, and I don't mean that in any way, but I was just, it was something going as far back as like 50 years when I first saw it, and then I stopped thinking about it. Yeah. And then the reality came in. It's like, okay, well, if they were going to procreate, especially amongst themselves, they would have to be, unless now they had the eggs. So were those eggs, I'm going in a whole different direction, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but you get what I'm
No, I get it. Me personally, I was thinking, who's going to be the pissed off individual that lost
their who lost out, right?
Yeah, who lost their mate, right?
Some of the comments coming through. We have, let me see here. Hey, Kitty is out there. She said, but they did find a lovely home. They just found it too late to actually be able to stay. Immunity syndrome. We will be talking about that. That's going to be later in the discussion. And I actually have a lot of commentary for that. And I'm sure Gordon does too. So, but thank you for putting that out there.
That's one of my shake my head episodes.
Yeah, agreed. Diana said, lots of laughs. Those parrots were everywhere. One moment of humanity. Yeah, that's right. They were. We'll get there too. That's actually one of my non-favorites, but hold that thought, Diana. Warren just said, yes, we talked about the stock footage being in music videos like Rush in Kansas. Wild. Yep. And Diana said, and how did the humans end up on Vega? Couldn't the Alphans have lived there? There were already people there. We'll come back to that. We're making our way. I mean, you're absolutely right, Diana. And I do.
We're going in order from the technical notebook. So
yeah, we're going in production order. And actually, to be fair, I'm actually not even using a technical notebook.
No, that's cool. I don't mind saying that I'm using it because I want to stay on track here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not as cool as you are, Roy.
Oh, you're too cool, Brewster.
To Warren's point on the music videos, though, the most obvious, though, was the flock of seagulls. If I had a photograph of you, that was probably the most in-your-face Space 1999 reference of music video during that time period.
Wow.
I mean, Space Warp all over the place, or maybe AB Chrysalis or whatever, with all of that business going on. They used the snot out of that and showed the snot out of that on MTV. It was pretty bewildering. But yeah, absolutely. Rush, Kansas. Those were a little bit more of subtle. Yeah. But man, the flock of seagulls. I always want to say Space Age love songs. Not that. It's photographing you. Wishing. I think the song is called Wishing.
Wishing. Gotcha. Chris just commented, the Kaldorians left their home world because of environmental issues. Their planet became sterile. Oh, thanks for clarifying that, Chris. And then Warren commented, their look was designed to sort of be gender neutral, way ahead of its time. Yep, true. And Missy said, I joined late. So hello. Hey, Missy, thanks for being out there. Alrighty. I think next up, if I'm not mistaken, should be Another Time, Another Place.
Correct. Yeah, we understand the opportunity missed on that one, and I am hoping that the other universe Alphans do well.
Yeah.
I think we all hope for that. You know, the two things that really blew me away out of that whole ordeal, though, was the cadavers of both Alan and Koenig. What do they do with them? Nobody still wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
Except for me, it's like, well, they were on Alpha. What did, once the moons came together, what happened to Koenig and Alan's bodies from the other universe that died? And then the second thing was the bouquet of roses that they emphasized on the very end of the episode, right? Which came from that other planet. So once the moons came together, it's like, oh, I still got these flowers,
Technically, those flowers should have disappeared. Just like I think the bodies would have disappeared.
Right. But nobody wants to talk about the bodies.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. To me, that would have been a big deal.
No.
Anyway.
But I agree with you.
I'm hoping that they did very well.
They could not have stayed there because, as Bergman told them, if you don't make it back to your own moon, you'll have no place to die. And it's like, whoa. That's right. That was kind of like, and then like Helena said, our time and our place is back on Alpha. And then
I would have been pissed at Ron about because we're talking about Missing Link now.
Yep.
I would have been pissed at him. It's like, okay, so here you are testing on me and bashing my head or doing all kinds of weird whatever it is that you wanted to do, and I'm moving in on your daughter and blah 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 storyline whatever, and then but no talk about, hey, I got a bunch of guys over here hanging out on the moon. We need a place to stay. Y'all looking pretty good. Can you hook us up? That was a missed opportunity, I think.
It was, but here's the thing. I think what would have happened is that they were so here we go. They were so evolved that as scientists, they probably couldn't have helped themselves to have done to the Alphans what Ron was doing to Koenig. I mean, he kind of learned a lesson.
So you're kind of going along the same premises like from War Games and those two aliens. Like, hey, you can't come over here either. We're too good for you. You'll mess up our perfect brains and stuff. Right.
And then I could also take the stance that, this was an awesome opportunity to have Peter Cushing be a guest star on this episode where you're dealing with monsters and Frankenstein, the guy with the brain, and then also, it was just subjects. It had him written all over it. So, but getting back on track, folks, not that we ever digress on this show. It never happens. To Gordon's point, could they have possibly worked something out if they were as civilized as they were claiming to be and so ahead of themselves? You would think that they would want to help the Alphans. So
I don't know. It just seems like there's an expectation. We'll just get the next one.
Yeah.
Attitude. We'll just get the next one. And I always hated that about the show. We'll just get the next one.
Well, and how many planets? I mean, I really, and the epilogue of Matter of Life and Death on Channel 11 out of New York City, when they came back from the ending of when, Koenig says, cancel Operation Exodus, goes to commercial, and he comes back. If you were watching on Channel 11 back in the day, that episode actually picks up where Koenig is going up the balcony stairs and watches Helena watch the planet going into the distance. Everything was cut out, which I thought was a beautiful character moment between Kano and Koenig and even Bergman.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking about the possibility of finding Earth-like planets along their journey and the amount of time it's going to take, and that really is setting the stage again. Episode number 2 of of what is going to potentially happen. So
unless they blow up their nuclear waste and decide to change the direction of their moon, right?
Oh boy, Missy's commenting. She said, wasn't it Tabor who said in that episode that there was no place suitable for them in the universe? Cannot remember his exact line, as if they were some sort of rogue plague wandering through the old universe.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either. He was talking about Planet, and here again, and folks, I'm not bashing year 2. I'm just bashing the Tabor episode. I was not a big fan of that episode because it was almost like, I mean, the Tabor was almost like the equivalent of Harry Mudd in my mind in Star Trek, and I can't help but make that connection. Sorry if I'm, I don't mean, again, I have year 2 episodes that I absolutely adore and love. That's my last disclaimer for the night. With that said,
no bashing.
With that said, it made the galaxy and the universe seem like it was just like you could go to the next like convenience store up the road. And I was not a fan of that episode. I specifically don't remember that, Missy. But I know he did reference a few different things in his drunken stupor and his stupor. So anyway, enough said of that. But if somebody else remembers something differently, please, feel free to chime in. Chris is out there. Hey, Chris. Chris is joining us from the UK. Welcome. Chris said, Ara seemed pretty sure whatever they did was their destiny. Absolutely. Mysterious unknown force to a T. I totally agree, Chris.
Yeah, but we're not at collision course yet.
We're working our way to it, though. We're getting close. We're almost halfway there. And Chris said the Tabor was not a favorite episode of mine. Yeah, no. But anyway.
Hey, so I guess we're at Guardian of Piri now.
Yeah, and this was
now
a favorite.
That I think was somewhat of a missed opportunity, sort of, right? So they really didn't know what to expect once they, blew up the Guardian.
Here's the thing where exactly. The problem was too, the moon was going out of orbit, as Berg yells.
Everybody's freaking, get to the Eagle, get back home.
Right. So if they stayed there and it turned out to be a flop, they would have been basically SOL. They would have been out of luck.
Yep.
So they had no way of, they never did a full reconnaissance because of what had happened to Irving and Davis initially.
Yeah.
And then when Koenig went to the planet, his reconnaissance, he basically reported everything was dead. We know the story, time was suspended, nothing could happen. Mm-hmm. However, when they were back on the Alpha and plant life is starting to grow and things are starting to move forward after the Guardian had been destroyed, they were out of reach and it was too late. So yeah, definitely a missed opportunity, but I don't blame them for it because it would have been tough.
Right.
Let's see.
So Force of Life will skip over, and then Alpha Child. I think the only thing that I can say about Alpha Child is that I would have been pissed at those aliens that destroyed the other aliens, and it's like, and you left us hanging. It's like, you know why we're here, but we appreciate you hooking us up by getting rid of Jarek and and company. But now what? Right.
I mean, we don't know if there was a compatibility issue. We don't know if maybe the planet they were from wasn't like
it was
habitable planet.
Yeah. Right.
Just saying.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, I want to. Warren said, I think Kitty was meaning the line where he says, "You belong in the zoo on Shamanal" or something like that. Oh, okay. That's when basically Koenig is being kidnapped by Tabor, and he's like, "Where are you taking me?" And then that's when he responds with that comment and says, "To the zoo where you belong." If that's what you meant, Kitty, please let us know. Marianne said, now that was a favorite of mine, and she was referencing Guardian of Piri. Yeah, definitely a favorite of mine as well.
It was a great episode, and the just the design work, a lot of the special effects. You get to see eagles docking with each other. I mean, there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff going on in that episode. It's a good story.
Yeah, it really was. Catherine Schell did an amazing job.
And, yeah.
And as a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, I was in love with Catherine Schell.
That's a rather interesting outfit she was wearing. I will give you that, especially for the mid-70s.
Yeah, exactly, right? Chris said Alpha Child was definitely Space 1999's version of the Omen and the Changeling. Absolutely, Chris. Totally.
Well, when it comes to that little turd, yes, I would say he definitely set the stage for that.
And that's the thing about that episode too, Alpha Child. I really liked that episode, especially the first half. The second half wasn't terrible, but I don't know what I wanted, but I wish there was a little bit more to it. I can't even say what that is, but it needed a little bit more of something. And I know Warren and I have talked about that on this episode too.
Yeah, I mean, it led up to an interesting, almost climax to where it's like, oh, so you guys are aliens, and this is what you really want, and then you're being blown away by your enemy, and that's it.
Yeah, and it just needed a little bit more of something. And I'm not saying again, I do enjoy the episode. It's definitely.
Oh, it was the first half with young Jackie Crawford was really awesome.
It really
gave you that really that really eerie Alphan
vibe
of year one. That's for
Plus, sure. On the flip side of it, I think as 8 or 9 year olds, I think we were, and I think I even have that thought of, wow, how cool was it that this kid was on Alpha. He was holding a comm lock. You got to do these cool things. You got to sit in an eagle. I mean,
you should see the behind the scenes shots of all that. He's like, oh yeah, man, check this out. I'm like the commander in my uniform, holding the comm lock. Yeah. Flying an eagle. Yeah. I mean, good grief.
Pretty cool.
That was a lucky kid. That was a lucky kid.
And
he was a great actor too, doing what he was told to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. He conveyed it. He definitely conveyed it. And I wish, I tried to track him down for us. I think Warren's tried to track him down as well. I don't know what happened to Wayne Brooks. I mean, he would be pretty awesome to.
Yeah, no, I agree. So The Last Sunset, boy, there's a lot of levels to be talked about for The Last Sunset.
I like the way you went right into that, Gordon. That was very smooth.
Got to keep this thing moving, right? Got to keep it moving.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite episodes of, and again, this is another one that is like a half and half. It starts out with one story, and then it has another part of the story.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, so despite the story, I thought both halves were actually pretty good.
Absolutely.
The aliens, though, I would have been pissed one way or the other. As Commander Koenig, I would have been just totally pissed. Like, I know you're not malevolent or malevolent or whatever, at the very end of what they said. We just wanted you guys to kind of move on, and we don't need you on our planet, because and this is what the third time that we're actually talking about. War Games is coming up. That'll be the third time talking about where humans are just really incompatible. We don't want you here, right? That this was one of those pinnacle episodes of we don't want you here, and we're going to just make it mysterious. We're going to give you what you want too for a temporary time period, and with the possibility of maybe killing you, because when you guys get out of range and your atmosphere goes away, well, guess what? No warning. Sorry. Have a nice day. Right.
It would be like our sun going out, which I just read about the other day. It was something that was online. I think it was on Friday, and they said if our sun should go out, like let's say it just fizzled, it would take 7 minutes for us to notice the difference because of the
speed of light.
Speed of light, exactly. But once that 7 minutes came into effect, it would be very, very cold, and we would probably be extinct.
I mean, there's not really a whole much to complain about after that. It would there. All of your problems will be solved.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what would have happened to the Alphans. It would have turned Alpha into an ice cap because.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And well, so on the good side of it, and once the narcotic type effects are removed, hopefully that mana stuff is a good thing for them to. It would have been interesting to see what kind of recipes they come up with, like Maya's favorite recipes of mana from The Last Sunset. We got crops of this stuff all over the place, and it won't stop growing. And talk about a blessing or whatever, whatever you want to call it. I thought that could have been an interesting opportunity too. It's like, hey, let's cooking with Tony or whatever.
And you just reminded me of something. There's so many fan stories out there. There's so many people that do fanzines and stories in an alternate reality. We're going down this path. Why not? We can do it wherever we want, right? Wouldn't it be cool to think that if the moon actually went into orbit around Ariel's sun and actually was able to sustain Alpha and the moon to have an actual environment and they were able to colonize the moon. That would have made it for a really interesting story. To your point, I mean, what would have occurred? What would have happened? I mean, one of the things that we got to see, and I know this Mark Craig, he goes crazy because people online always ask us, how the heck is Koenig able to pull down the window?
Oh Lord, I don't even want to talk about that.
But of course, there's the engineering section.
This episode, that's for sure.
The engineering section came in and they actually worked on it, but it was a deleted scene. But it always makes me smile because somebody that unwillingly does not know will ask that question. How does he do that? And it's like
a lot of people think that's part of main mission too. And
it wasn't. No, but it's kind of cool. I just want to catch up on some of the comments out there.
Sure.
Chris wrote, "Love the Guardian of Pre, one of my favorites." He said, "Lots of laughs. Yeppers, that child was evil." Marianne said, "Chris is so right. Little Jackie was like Damien, spooky kid, lots of laughs." Diana said, "So, whatever happened to the baby and the ill commander outfit?" Yeah, very, very true, Diana. It's like, what did happen?
Once again, no continuity.
No, and that's why when Helena references in the second episode of The Exiles in year 2 and says we can't even permit any new births on Alpha, it's like, what happened to Jackie Crawford? But anyway, Amy, welcome to the show, and Andy, welcome. They said hi all from the both of them, and having trouble connecting, but enjoying the conversation. Thanks for being out there, and I'm sorry you're having an issue with the connection. I hope it clears up. But thank you for all you do, and thanks for being out there. Warren's commenting, fun fact, The Omen was being filmed at the same time as 1999 at Pinewood. The young Damien actor Harvey was in the green room with Suzanne's son at one point. Yeah, and interesting enough, Suzanne and Justin, her son, and also Quentin are in that movie. And Suzanne had told me about this. They are at the graveyard scene and at the cemetery. So you can actually see them all there in that scene. So, but thanks for sharing that, Warren. Cool. Dennis said, still can't figure out how Alpha had opening windows.
You just had to share that one, did you?
I know Dennis is busting. Chris said some edition filming of The Omen was also done at Shepperton Studios, and he said those mushrooms from the last sunset look delicious. Yeah, I always wonder how they taste. I always get hungry when I'm watching the episode myself, Chris. And Jeff commented, I heard the crops of spacemen kept disappearing. Paul was the only suspect. The jury is out.
That's true. You got to be careful who your friends are.
And Marianne just said, oh my God, that dang window. And Warren saying it was Jack McKenzie in that cut scene with the windows and technical. Yes, thanks for sharing that, Warren. That's right. I forgot about that. Chris Trice is saying any planet they colonize would have to be in a star's Galak zone, a wandering planet like Meta. They freeze. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that always
still didn't stop. Hey, that didn't stop the folks at Ultima Thule for almost 800 years.
Well, this is true. That's true too. And then we're getting to that. We're coming close.
Yes, we are.
Chris said the inhabitants of Ariel hit the nail on the head regarding their observations about human nature. Yeah, this is so true. Missy said space 1999 continuity. Ha 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 ha. We're having fun. That's the important thing.
That's right.
Chris said, sadly, Jackie Crawford's fate was revealed in the POW Media Space 1999 novel, The Forsaken, and one of the short stories in the collection, Shepherd's Moon. Yeah, thank you, Mateo. Mateo did a great job with that. And Warren said maybe the space mana that made Paul's wavy. Oh, okay. It was maybe that's what it was. Alrighty, I think we got caught up and talk about
Voyager's Return.
No. Well, we can do Voyager.
Well, you skipped over Voyager's Return.
I did.
So the only thing that we could really talk about is where those guys came from. And I would have said something, but they were so pissed at I guess Earth in general, they were going to go blow up the Earth. So
that's part of the reason why I didn't even consider it, because the Sidon worlds had been destroyed. So the last thing I thought they were going to do is basically, say, hey, you know what, you're forgiven, and you know
probably nothing left. Yeah.
Plus, they really were out for revenge. I mean, if they were now, here's the thing.
I guess they had nothing to lose.
Well, this is true. This is the difference, though, between the alien races. Though we look at, and we'll use this as an example. The Caldorians, the Alphans accidentally destroyed one of the containers, and where one of their mates were, basically incinerated.
Right.
And Captain Xander said, when pretty much Commissioner Simmons was trying to fry Koenig and, say, somebody's going to be responsible. And Xander said,
it wasn't done out of malice.
We're not looking for judicial revenge. We don't seek any type of revenge. And,
Right.
it wasn't, like you just said, it wasn't out of malice. So you got the alien race that is very understanding, but then you've got the alien race that basically it wasn't one person, it's a whole race or a whole planet, or two planets. Does the number dictate, or is it supposed to be, the same thing in regards to the philosophy? I mean, that's, I guess that in itself is a philosophical question.
That's true.
And that's something Spock brought up. Spock mentioned this in the Immunity Syndrome. Doesn't that title sound familiar, folks? In the second season of Star Trek, when the
Lord,
when the ship of the Vulcans was destroyed, and then he says to McCoy, "I've noticed that about your people, Doctor. You seem to accept the death of one instead of 1,000 easier." And then he said, you talk about the objection of the hardness of the Vulcan heart, and then he goes, and how much little room there is in yours. And it's like, it's a numbers game, right? And it's almost like, is it about the philosophy or is it the numbers? So anyway,
right.
Food for thought.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, collision course.
Yep.
Yeah, that Lord knows. I mean, if you're on a collision course, there was no opportunity for orbit. I mean, it sure started out really good about that asteroid too, with Alan trying to save Alan and whatnot. But I know that there's a lot of muff going around in that particular episode, one way or the other, and it was destined for the moon to touch the planet. But it sure would have been interesting to at least ask our, hey, how about us? We can be able to colonize your planet. That wasn't even brought up.
And I have a feeling, you're right. You're absolutely right. I have a feeling that she probably would have dismissed it. It was almost like they needed to continue to do what they needed to do. It was almost like their part of their part of the story was to collide with their world, and then their world was going to transform. So that opportunity probably wouldn't even be there for them to benefit from, because she was aware of the transformation that was going to take place, and there would be no way that they could exist, at least on a corporeal level, I think. So to your point, it was never brought up, but I think it would have been dismissed because she had other things in mind for what was going to happen.
I'll tell you what, though, I bet Koenig sure wishes he had one of these bad boys, though, so he could at least convince the Alphans that he chit-chatted with Ara. Hey, instead of trying to convince him just with word of mouth.
Yeah. Or the Eagle cameras had been recording something. That's
right.
No, that's a good point, Chris. Ara tells Koenig their journey will know no end. So yeah. So that's a valid point. That's a good point. That says a lot right there.
I'd still be looking, though. I'd still be looking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'd be, I don't know. If I heard that, it's like, well, Ara, what the hell do you mean by that? No end. You want me to stay on Alpha the whole time, right? I don't know. There's like a whole bunch of,
I agree.
Mysterious things that are open for some discussion, like we're doing right now, and that's basically why the storytellers do what they do. But nevertheless, from a common sense perspective and being a leader myself, I just would have been asking the obvious questions. What about us? I got to do something. I have a goal in mind. I got to find a habitable planet, habitable something that's more than what Alpha is providing us. But I don't know, Mana sure solved a lot of problems, I
guess. Well, now to Chris's point, though, Koenig asks and says, "What will happen to us?" And your journey will show no end. You'll populate the farthest regions of space, new worlds, new galaxies, and
to seek out.
But that doesn't answer the. Yeah. It sounds like Star Trek. I know. Jack Daly's commenting. Hey, Jack, thanks for joining us. He said, if you were on that collision course, would you party like it's 1999? Sorry,
I know Sanderson would.
No.
Sanderson would. 99 Alpha lower decks, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, anyway, so let's
wait,
move
before
on.
You go on.
Okay.
Before you hit Death's Other Dominion, Ultima Thule, Jeff Rubel said, I doubt they could have lived on Etheria with it being 34 times the size of the moon. I could be wrong, but I think it's a Neptune-sized planet, awfully heavy gravity. Okay, fair enough. Chris said their Odyssey shall have no end. Yep. And Warren just said maybe Arrow would still be looking out for them 50 years later. Ghost Call. Yeah, exactly, Warren. I was thinking the same thing. Very, very true. And again, it's right. 50 years later, it's perfect.
Yeah, we're still chit-chatting about it, right?
Absolutely. And Chris just said, journey doesn't have to be literal. It could be synonymous future. Yep. Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yep.
I have a hunch that Sanderson would party like it's 1999. Lots of laughs. Anyway, this is one of my favorite episodes, Shakespearean in context, but it's also just
very good story.
Very good story, great meaning, great cast.
I also thought that the explanation of not staying there was kind of emphasized in the Spellbinder at the end, told so well. I thought it was told so well. It's like, yeah, well, we're going to do the vote. And even Alan even said, I'm sorry, you can't count on me, man. I don't see what your problem is until that happened on the Eagle or, next to Helena. Where dude just kind of blows up. He decomposes almost instantly,
Well, here's the thing, too, with that. Now,
Dr. Roland.
Dr. Roland, yeah. Which we call Brian Blessed. Mm-hmm. If they left the planet, they would die. Because they couldn't, if they stayed there, and that's what even Roland said. He said, you may even have it be adapted.
Nobody knew that, though. Nobody knew that until the very end. That's why I call it a Spellbinder.
Right. But my point, though, is that if they left the planet, they would die because they would basically age, appropriately.
Right.
However, if they stayed, they could have a life. But the Alphans are looking for a life. I mean, they're looking to settle and have children. Yep. I mean, Helena even says it, and then Mary says there can be no children here. It can't happen. So that shot that down because if it was that they had to stay there and then they could basically live forever, the only thing bad about that planet would be the climate, which honestly 200 degrees below zero would basically suck. I mean, that's just that. I mean, who wants to stay there? I mean, we here on Earth, it's not like we go from planet to planet, right? I mean, we're here and we make do with what we got. But for them, they would be trapped on this basic, Arctic world, and they really couldn't have the type of life that they are.
Well, even the revered ones is even one level deeper into not having a life, right?
Yeah.
So it was bad, but no. To back to the point of the habitable planet, I thought the story was actually told very well for a change. That you got basically all of the information, and it kind of was satisfying. And then you have the Spellbinder at the very end. It's like, oh well, that's why.
Yeah. If there isn't,
very shocking. Yeah. A little traumatic for me.
Missy commented. She said, "Wait a minute. If Aris said that they were going to populate far regions of space, yada yada yada, how were they supposed to do that? Alpha kept losing Alphans every dang episode." Chris said, "Death's Other Dominion, another favorite, very Shakespearean. Yep, love Brian Bless's performance." Missy said, "Gotta hand it to Alan. He can plow his way through a snowdrift and get an eagle launched." Joking aside, a great episode. Yeah, no.
And absolutely. Sweating while he was trying to lift it off.
Yeah. Come on, you beautiful bonnet. Lift off.
Yep.
Love Valerie Leon's appearance in Death's Other Dominion too. Lots of laughs. I actually had the opportunity to meet her at Chiller Theater about 14 years ago. I think it was in 2012.
It's a shame she didn't have any lines.
Yeah. She really didn't remember. I mean, she remembered working on space, but she didn't remember a lot about it. And she had some photos, but she did say it was a pleasant experience. and nothing negative to say, but it was just not a lot of. She didn't have a lot to share about it, but
she shared quite a bit, but she didn't have to say nothing. So true.
Hey, James. James is out there joining us from Australia. Welcome.
Howdy, James.
And Warren said, I love how Missy actually took the time to type out yada, yada, yada. Well, it drives the point. Speaking of going full circle, that's up next.
Oh, yeah, I think that was a missed opportunity. Straight up.
Yes, my only concern, I agree with you in regards to the planet, because it really seemed like the perfect place. The only negative, though, would be that if that one location wasn't the only area where you had to be careful of going back into time 50,000 years. I mean, if it was like an expanding warp, if it was something that was, expanding throughout the planet. I mean, how lucky for our Alphans that just happened to be where they landed, that they actually encountered that. I mean, if it's just that one area and it's almost like off limits, do not enter, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, we could put signs down.
Yep. Like John Robinson did in Lost in Space. And nobody listens, Dr. Smith.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, that to me would have been the only reason not to colonize the planet. Otherwise, it was a potential missed opportunity. I
think the only other thing that was very mysterious was the monster call in the background when they were when Koenig was shooting at the lake. I think there was a monster call. You heard this roaring in the background somewhere.
Yep. Did you think that was a dinosaur?
That was the only. Huh?
Did you think it was a dinosaur?
Oh, who knows? I mean, I didn't know what to think it was. I mean, good grief, they didn't do a Jurassic Park theme for that, except for just the bones, I think. Yeah. But nevertheless, I don't know. It looked like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, potentially. I would give that I can meet you halfway on that one, definitely. Chris said, I'm surprised the Alphans did not colonize the planet in the full circle. Yeah, Retha, it seemed ideal. Yeah, and again, to me, it was just that I would have been concerned about the warp that was there.
Right. End of Eternity, we can skip over.
Yeah.
War Games, yes. War Games. The dream sequence episode.
Mm-hmm.
Does this mean we can go to the planet? No.
We trust you will stay away.
I guess, yeah. I guess that answered that, right? So I don't know if that would be considered a missed opportunity or not. Maybe not. I loved the special effects sequences. Obviously,
oh my God. Yeah.
There's so much to say that's really good about that episode. Even for the merch that came out, there was some missed opportunities one way or the other. Even the GAF Viewmaster reels. Apparently, when the photographer showed up with his little 3D camera, Brian Johnson was not working with the Hawks that day.
Oh.
So you don't see any Hawks in those 3D.
No, but that explains why there were no Hawks, and I wondered why there were no Hawks.
Well, I'm speculating, right? But
you're probably right.
But I mean, they called those I think in the reels they called the Hawks those big ships. And they had like 3 of those big ships, I think, drawn in the little booklet that comes with the reels. I just thought it was kind of funny because apparently that was not Hawk Day.
No, so that was a missed opportunity. That was a missed opportunity. The heck with not going to the habitable planet.
And then all the nuclear blasts at the very end. I thought that was kind of weird. It's like, oh my gosh! And then everything just kind of did this, and now you're back down to the countdown, and then. Wait, hold your fire, and then the Hawks disappear, and that was it. That was basically the end of the episode. So there's really not a whole lot to. I mean, not unless you have other things to talk about, like maybe Koenig at that point could start giving his case on why we would like to colonize your planet more so, like he did when he was down at the planet during the dream sequence, right? That would have been interesting, but I mean,
they could have tried to explore it, but it's almost like the aliens I mean, in my mind too, they did that whole scenario in their minds so that almost Alpha would be out of range too, that they wouldn't be able to have time.
Yeah, but we don't know that, right? We
No,
don't
we
know.
don't.
They were
I mean,
still talking
that's
about it. They were still talking about, it's like, does this
Yeah.
mean we can go to the planet? It's like,
Right.
no,
No.
because I mean, at that point, they're still within range.
Yeah. I mean, how long would the reconnaissance been, or how long would it, for them to do Operation Exodus? Would they have enough time? No, that's basically an assumption on my part. But I think that it pretty much the way it was all laid out was that it wouldn't work, because what would happen is somebody, maybe not Koenig or Helena, or somebody in main mission, but somebody out of those 300 people would cause violence and then would basically do what the aliens did not want to happen. So that pretty much was.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. The risk was too great to interfere with their perfect planet of brain.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, but taking a pause for a second for the topic of this show, I mean, that episode was, I mean, a special effects bonanza. I mean, it was just.
Oh yeah, even the cardboard eagle blowing up, that was awesome.
It was. I mean, I remember my parent. We had my dad had gotten a video recorder. It was like in 1980, 81, and I literally had like one videotape because tapes were ridiculous. I used my allowance for that. But anyway, the point is, taping at the 6-hour speed. I remember going to the Lopakon pool, which, folks, if you're in the Lopakon area, this is one of my big beefs. It is now closed. I found out that the pool has been leveled and it is gone. So if you're in New Jersey, Lopakon, it's not there anymore. Anyway, with that said, 1999 was being shown at 4:00 on Channel 11, and I thought, you know what? It's a summer day. I'm going to go to the pool, and I had my dad do the video recording, and it got messed up, and it was War Games, and I was like, no.
Oh wow. But you must have been happy when you were able to get the Sybil Danning's Alien, right? For $69.95 or whatever. I mean, the videotape was just horrendously expensive.
I remember coming across those tapes, and I was like, what the heck is this? And then the altered music, but we'll save that for another time. But
right. Yeah, let's make fun of Sybil Danning some other time.
But anyway, and yesterday, in defense of my dad, he turned 85 yesterday. So
happy birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, next episode we have is now this potentially, the last enemy. You've got two planets in this episode. Now, in my opinion, and let me know.
Men versus the women.
It is. It really is. And that's
don't understand that. But
I don't either, because you can't tell me that there's only men on the planet and there's only women on the other. So what was it? It was Betha was Dionys' planet, and Delta was the guy, the man's planet. Yep. And I'm saying that, based on what we saw, and that doesn't mean that that's how it was going. Out of those two planets, I think, and then this is going to sound chauvinistic, but I'm going to back it up for my rationale, and tell me if you agree with me, Gordon. Out of those two planets, I would have picked Delta, because if nothing else, the Deltans were on the up and up with Koenig. They never lied. They basically, as far as we knew, and they did not try to pull a fast one on the Alphans. And they, when Koenig told Paul to signal Talos to destroy the missiles, he did destroy the missiles.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that he was trying to, go against them. Anyway, Your thoughts?
Well, no, I totally agree. And then I would have had a little chit chat with the dude and say, hey, we hooked you up. Can you hook us up? Right? I mean, you guys can you have the technology, put the moon in between the two planets around the sun or whatever, do whatever it is, as long as we can hang out. Well, actually, at the very end, they said that they really didn't want to risk being in the permanent war, so they're happy to pass that one by anyway. So I would think that I have very conflicting feelings about, do I pass this one up? Do I pass this one up? Is there another one coming?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This ain't no Starship Enterprise, right?
No.
So I'm taking a big risk on passing this one up. So they passed it up, and there you go.
I mean, I agree that what they said as far as them being.
I just find it rather interesting that they brought it up. They brought it up that I don't want to be a part of that permanent war business. I'm glad we're not going down there. It's like, well, I guess they have an opportunity to say, I'm going to pass this one up.
Right. But on the flip side of it, if they get killed, then they're out of the game anyway. You know what I mean? At least on the moon, they have I'll say they have a chance for survival. Because what happens? Here's the other thing: what happens if another orbiting platform appears? Like Diane said, that years ago there was another asteroid or whatever that came into range. What happens if the Bethans use that platform and then they destroy Delta?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a crap shot, really. Some comments are coming through in regards to this. Let's see what we got. Marianne just said, I agree. I was with the men planet as they didn't double cross the Alphans like Diane did. Woman, lots of laughs. See that? And that's coming from a woman. Thank you, Marianne. Chris said neither Betha and Delta would have been suitable for colonization. Both planets' races were at constant war with each other. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah, they said, like I said, they said that at the very end that they were glad that they didn't because they wouldn't want to be at that risk.
Right.
I'm paraphrasing,
no, it's all good.
But totally understand that. Anyway, moving on. What are we doing here? Troubled Spirit. We'll skip over Space Brain. We don't really talk about Space Brain, do we? Oh, you're just going all the way to.
No, but you know what? To be fair, Gordon, I actually have a slide for the...
Because, I mean, there was an opportunity to be on the Daria.
Yes, and this is what I had for that. Special mention, Mission of the Darians. That possibly... And the one thing that bothered me about this, at the end of the episode, Koenig... Now, if he meant it as a gesture, it's one thing. Yeah. But he said, we'll help you, but the rest is up to you. Yeah. We'll help you how? I mean, what are they going to do to help? That's the question. And I have a feeling they don't even go back there. You know what I mean?
Of course they didn't.
You know what I mean? So what?
Yeah.
Chris just commented. He said, I wouldn't overthink it. If they can send giant bombers to the moon, then they can send missiles around the sun. Yeah. No, fair enough, Chris.
Oh,
very true.
Yeah.
Very true. But back to Mission of the Darians. I don't know. What did you think, Gordon?
I missed opportunity, I think. It really depends on the damage of the ship.
Yep.
I think that if they were able to combine resources, maybe there would be a better outcome of that whole deal. They really didn't emphasize it too much, and more to your point, talking about we'll help you, the rest is up to you. What did that mean? We don't know what that meant. So it's like, well, there's the end of that episode. Great music. Joan Collins was in it. Pretty good action. That was basically about it, really.
Yeah.
A lot of great special effects. Oh my goodness. I know Martin Bower was pretty busy on that Daria ship.
That was a beautiful ship. And also David Hirsch, folks, the Eagle 11. We get to see.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. That you get a really good opportunity to see Eagle, the 11-inch Eagle, close up right there. Some of those highly detailed shots.
Yeah.
They get sucked into the airlock.
Yeah. I always thought that was really cool.
Or the docking lock or whatever. Okay, so nothing for Dragon's Domain unless you want to talk about Ultra. Really not much of an opportunity to talk about that. I think we already done talked about it, as they say in the South. Testament of Arcadia. Interesting opportunity.
Yeah.
A lot of mysteriousness going on with that one. It's almost like the planet had it for those two. What is it? Luke and Anna. Ultimately, and nobody else, right? It seemed like Luke and Anna were I don't know. They were called, summoned to take on that planet. Oh, what was that from Chris? I missed it.
Yeah, Chris wrote, commented, the Darians aren't in any better position than the Alphans. They have limited resources trapped on a ship. No, and I do agree with that.
What a big ship, though.
Yeah.
Massive. It's almost like its own world.
And 100
square miles of ship.
Well done. Marianne commented, maybe Koenig meant he wanted to help the Darians learn how to get along with the cave people. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right.
You know,
you Darians value yourselves a lot.
Yeah. Because really, who was more civilized? Was it the Alphans, or was it the
Alphans?
The Darians? Yeah, it was the Alphans. Yeah.
The Alphans were more civilized.
Absolutely. But I'm saying between the Darians, the mutant Darians, or the so-called civilized Darians, in some ways the mutant Darians were a little bit more civilized because they pretty much were counting on each other.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Let me see some comments coming through from, okay, let's see here. Chris said, Luke, Farrow, and Anna Davis were definitely the 21st century equivalent of Adam and Eve. Absolutely. May is commenting. May said, Arcadia wasn't any worse than the version of Earth they were living on in another time, another place. The second Professor Bergman even spoke of bringing a dead planet back to life. Great point, May. Absolutely. That's true. Very good point.
That's true. Plus, they used that exiting eagle shot again, even though it's different coloring of the planet.
I love that. And they are different, though, to your point.
A little bit different, yep.
Yep.
Same picture, different planet. Color.
Yeah. It's so cool, though. Marianne said, on the music and Testament of Arcadia was so lovely. I always cried at the end. That music is beautiful.
Except for when they went disco at the very end. I did not like that disco piece.
Oh, you didn't like that?
Didn't like it. I just keep it symphonic and you know, but they kind of ruined it for me right there at the very end.
James commented, he said, Luke and Anna were definitely chosen, left open-ended, though. Yeah. No.
I thought that Koenig actually did a very good job closing that whole book with the very end of the episode as he was doing his little narration writing.
Yeah. For us, for all mankind, there is a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thus ends series 1, which was kind of a good bookend.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Gordon, I want to ask you a question, see what you think. Would you want to come back to do season 2 at another time?
Yeah, let's do that.
Because I didn't think we were going to be as involved as we were. And you know what?
3 hours, man.
Yeah. So as long as you're okay with that, I think that we can maybe pick up with, we'll coordinate and we'll let everybody know out there when we're going to do season 2. But
that's perfect.
Folks, I'm glad you're good with that. And then we're going to bring Warren on too.
Yeah.
But I just want to find out from the folks. Did you enjoy our conversation? Did you enjoy this type of topic, this type of discussion? What are your thoughts on it? Please comment in the comment section, because feedback like that does help. We are listening, folks. We are listening.
Absolutely.
Warren said they fixed it for the high definition remaster for the photos. Chris just said a MUF had plans for Luke and Anna out of the Alphans' control. Marianne said, can't wait next time to chat about season 2. I'm in love with it. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Marianne, for commenting. Now, for the other 1,000 folks out there that are watching the show tonight, please let us know.
Yeah. And Roy, I would be honored to pick up where we left off.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm having too much fun. Sorry. Comments are coming in. James said, I was late coming in, but very cool. Chris is saying, Yepers, I enjoyed it. Missy saying, even though I joined late, love this. And when you do your 2, I will be here. May said, great discussion. Dennis said, very enjoyable conversations. Live long and prosper, guys. Jeff Rubel said, hey, we're all muff micers after all. The more the merrier.
So true. So true.
Marianne said, Roy and Gordon, I enjoyed the show. Thank you. Okay, we're not done yet. We're going to bring Warren on because he's going to give us an update in regards to the convention. And then also he's going to talk about the fan film Return to Moonbase Alpha, which really kind of has, we're talking about the mysterious unknown force. We're talking about, the Alphans finding a habitable planet. So there's definitely a lot of different things going on with all those as a conversation piece. So yeah, so it definitely ties in together. So before I bring him on, because
well, hey, Roy, let me, I need to let you go. I got to take care of some business, but I am absolutely honored that you have had me on the show and to bring me back on for the season 2 discussion.
Okay, great.
Great stuff, man. Even in the future, maybe we'll talk about other things that
are
definitely kind of, not necessarily what has been talked about before, but what other people are thinking, right? Because I mean, a lot of times, and we've had 50 years to think about this, to really kind of digest. I know Chris tries to talk about overthinking it. Well, I do overthink a little bit. We have had 50 years to kind of to look at this, to discuss it, to kind of compare, go back and forth. Why did they do this? Why did they do that? I know it's a kind of a work of art that's already been pretty much set in stone. There's no changing it. It's already done. I get that, but it's great discussion to have.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love talking to you fans, because I mean, good grief, I didn't grow up with too many 99ers around me. So, doing this in later on in life and hanging out with you guys is just absolutely amazing. So, but anyway, I got to roll. I really do appreciate you having me on. Live long and prosper, Gordon. There, Roy.
Yeah, absolutely. Always. Take care, Gordon. Thanks again so much. And I'll talk to you soon. And then we'll announce everything for year 2 then. Follow-up discussion. Have a good night. Thanks.
See you, bub. Mm-hmm.
Bye. All right. Thank you again, Gordon. That was great and a lot of fun. And I'm also seeing a lot of the more comments coming through. Shari said, love to listen to you both. All over my head, though. Lots of laughs. Chris said, looking forward to the year 2 discussion. And catch you later, Gordon. And Missy said, thank you, Gordon. And you're all amazing. Thank you. All right. So with that said, I am going to bring Warren on. So, hey, Warren.
Yada, yada.
Yada, yada. How are you?
I'm good. What a great discussion you guys had.
Nah, thanks. It was fun. We, and the thing is, I was hoping Gordon would be all right with it. And it really worked out well because we pretty much did an hour and 20 minutes of discussion. And, I figured, I wanted to have you on to talk about the convention, give updates to the fans out there, because I know a lot of folks are, very interested in it. And then also everything that's been going on with Return to Moonbase Alpha, the fan film, in which this really ties into too. So it just it all worked out. And welcome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you know what? There was lots of people chiming in those comments, myself included. It was very engaging. So it makes perfect sense to roll it over into a part 2.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lou just commented, good show. It brought back memories since I haven't seen the series in a while. Dennis is saying hi to you, Warren. Missy's saying hi. Shari's saying hi. And James is saying good day, Warren, because he's in Australia and it's morning over there. Actually, it's probably, James, is it? Yeah, I guess it is morning. It's probably around 11:30, guessing, close to it. Because I think you're 16 hours ahead of us, James, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 15 hours. But anyway.
Yeah, no, you know what, really quickly, I mean, a couple of things, just listening to that, Roy, if I could, my own perspective on it, and I think both year 1 and year 2 are guilty of this, where there's lots of planets throughout the series, but it's rare that they actually reference whether or not it could be habitable.
Yep.
Like yourself and Gordon were both saying, there was a lot of missed opportunity there, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I mean, like Zeno, right? Etheria, like you guys had mentioned, right? There was, for a planet the size of Etheria, I mean, to house 300 people on a small island somewhere, like, doesn't seem that unrealistic to me, right?
Right.
It's but they don't even pose the question half the time. So I sort of found that funny. I'm looking forward to year 2 as well. And you know what? I heard both you and somebody mentioned immunity syndrome. And for as far as yeah. You know what? That's you kind of rolled your eyes when somebody brought it up. But that to me is one of my favorite year 2 episodes. And
my God, if I rolled my eyes, it wasn't because I.
Okay. I took that wrong. Yeah.
No, my God, that is.
Yeah.
In fact, when you and I get to discussing the immunity syndrome. Oh, you know why I rolled my eyes earlier was because of the title. Because I was talking
about. Yeah, of course.
When I said the immunity syndrome from Star Trek, because I was talking about the Vulcans, and Chris even said, I said when Spock is talking to McCoy, he says about referencing about one person dying instead of, I said 1,000, and actually it's millions.
Yeah.
But the point is, no, it's the same title, and it was I remember that, and that is an eye roller. I mean, but story wise, the immunity syndrome from Space 1999. Definitely one of my favorites. I love the latter year 2 episodes, and
they were on that upward.
They were
trajectory for sure. We've all talked about that. But the other thing is, I mean, I like immunity syndrome so much because I think whereas at least in year 1, they did sort of cover this a few times. Not every time, like I said. I mean, there were a lot of missed opportunities, but I think in year 2, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe other than Seance Spectre, where they reference it, of course, right? But it's the only time we actually see them engage in going down with that intention. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm even thinking off the top of my head, like even Devil's Planet, why didn't they?
In fact, I mean, we didn't get to, and we'll,
sorry, we're talking it out.
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely talk about it. I don't want to, dive into it, but let me say this to you. I do agree with you to a point, but when we come back to that, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But that's what's cool about it, though. There's so much stuff to talk about. It's fun.
Well, this was a fun show for you to put together, and it made it sort of said to me that you know what, there's a lot of elements and layers and dynamics to Space 1999, because we're all fans out there, right? Of course, right? But it's this is sort of why I think back in the 90s those early internet forums were so popular, because it was a place for people to come together and share these weird fan theories that people had, right? And start up these in-depth discussions. It's
and that's why
really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. And that's why I even said earlier about in regards to fan stories, fan fiction, a story where, and I was referring to Ariel, if the moon stayed in orbit around Ariel's sun and they were able to, live on the moon surface and they were able to develop crops and essentially, that would be their new Earth, so to speak. That would have been an interesting story and maybe what would have happened with that. But anyway, But what would you like to talk about first, Warren?
Well, how are you doing on time? I mean, I could probably talk for another 3 hours. No.
Well, I'm actually good probably for another 18 minutes.
Okay, well, that's perfect. Just so
because I gotta get my walk in tonight. When I told Sherry we were gonna walk, and she looked at me and she laughed and she's like, "It's gonna be dark out," and I'm like, "We'll get it in." And I think it's time, and it's slowly getting dark out. So,
well, I won't take up a lot of your time.
But I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about because you've been doing a lot with everything with the convention. And then also, again, with everything that's been going on with the fan film and, the Kickstarter. So, Yep.
No, for sure. Well, I appreciate you having me on, of course. And everybody out there, thank you all so much again for your constant support and interest in not only the convention, but of course, Return to Moonbase Alpha. This is sort of the little project that is the way I think of it. It's been through some ups and downs, of course, over the years we've discussed, but we're finally at that point where everything's coming together. So, and Sherry just said she's out for a walk right now, Roy.
Oh, wow.
So, no, for sure. Well, the convention, of course, I mean, it's interesting the way these two things are of course, linked now virtually at the hip, right? And that was, sort of my plan all along, because I'd wanted to develop this fan film project for a few years now, and I always thought in the back of my mind that it would be the perfect opportunity to film something like this at a convention, because the sets and the celebrities are in one place at one time, right? So from that perspective, it's but we're still, it's not to say we're just like bowled over with the support. I mean, when we talked, you and I even talked before we launched that campaign about that original funding goal, and It was a little higher at first. We decided to drop it back, and sure, but to end up 5 times the original amount we were looking for is just spectacular. Like I just can't believe it, right? So this is really notched up the entire. I mean, we would have done something regardless, right? But just let me say that this has really amped up or notched up the entire production. So and it was a community effort from start to finish the entire month of April. And thanks to people like yourself, Roy, who were there and sharing us and helping us get the word out, right? We were able to take that original funding goal and then roll it into those stretch goals to create some very fun and exciting things for everybody, right? And of course, there's Lauren Bacall, my dear friend. Hi, Lauren.
Hey, Deborah. Thanks, and don't worry about being late. No worries. Thanks for joining us.
But the biggest one was just the development of that practical effects stretch goal. Yeah. Right. Because there's no way we could have ever done that with the original funding goal. So it was really nice to see the people that even, once we announced it, like I hadn't even really talked to anybody, Roy, but you know what? I mean, we knew that there was a number of people in the community that could probably help facilitate this. And sure enough, right. It was such a fun and interesting idea that people actually approached us and said, yeah, we could do this. We've got, we know so-and-so and we've got these resources available to us. This has been something that's been a lifelong dream to many of us. So yeah, we're on board. And so it was really nice to see everybody coming together.
No, it really, really was. And it really is. And everything's just clicking into place. So it's only 4 months away, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. My world has gotten a lot more complex in the last month.
Yeah. Time just stands for nobody.
But hey, this is what I signed up for, and I've got a great team. Again, like with people like yourself that have been supporting everything we're doing here. So I'm certainly anything but a one-man show. It's only because of the good people that have, like I said, all reached out and all come together to pull this thing off. That's so exciting.
And so what in regards to the convention, let's talk about that first. And actually, I have a slide for that, and then you can give folks an update about that, and then we'll just talk a little bit more about the fan film. So let me get that on the screen. As I'm doing that, the dates are, and it's of course Manchester 1999, The Last Sunset, and the dates for that are going to be September 11th, 12th, and 13th for the event itself. And there we go.
Yeah, there we go. It's a pretty busy poster, but right out of the gates, we announced the 4 people you see here: Nick Tate, Anton Phillips, Suzanne, and Carolyn. And we've had one further official announcement being John Hugg. We've made no bones about it all the way along, Roy, as well, is just that, we kind of knew, everybody in the back of our minds, that we couldn't surpass what we pulled off in London, and we wouldn't want to attempt it either. It was just, I look back and there's so many things that could have gone wrong with having that large of a guest list, but you know what, we did it. But I wouldn't want to try it again. It was a big undertaking. It was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but you know what? We all decided very early on we wanted to sort of scale this back a little bit and make it a little more of an intimate event. And even with the hotel itself, a smaller facility, the hope was to rent out the entire hotel, or at least 95% of it. That's probably where we're at today.
That's amazing.
And it's going to be fun on a different level, right? It's going to be more of a homey feel. We've always been grateful for all of the relationships and bonds that have been formed between people, Roy, down through the years. And we wanted this event to sort of reflect that and just be a little more relaxed and still a lot of fun, right? But maybe not as much hustle and bustle as something like London. But yeah, just a really nice time for everybody. And I think we'll be able to pull that off easily this time out.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things in regards to the conventions too is it is a gathering of family, folks getting together. So, I mean, yes, it is a celebration of the series, but it's also, folks that don't actually have the opportunity to see each other in person. I mean, with the internet now, we're so blessed that we can, have Zoom calls, or we can do StreamYard calls and actually see each other and be connected in that capacity. And no matter where you are, even if you're in a different country, which is, if you really stop to think about it, it's really mega cool. But
it is. It was the dream that we all had as 5-year-olds, watching people talk to each other back and forth on Moonbase Alpha, right?
Yeah, exactly, on the
vid screens. Yeah.
Yeah. So true. So yeah, so that's and for folks, the website address, just so you know, is www.space199950years.com. So you can find out information about the convention there. There's a full website just to direct you to. I'm going to put up the poster just again. Yeah, it is a little busy, but it's also detailed, and you can expand upon it if you watch the show in the rewind. So there you have it.
Yeah, head on over to the website. The other thing that the poster sort of covers this as well is that even though we're downscaling maybe some of the guest list and the facility, we are actually going the other way with the exhibit room, and we're opening up the exhibit room to include a number of other Anderson properties as well. So you will see, props and replicas from UFO, from Captain Scarlet, from all the Super Marination series, Space Precinct. So there's a little more appeal here to the wider Anderson audience at the same time, which will be really cool. And then on top of that, to dial back or circle back to the Kickstarter a little bit, was the recent announcement that we're going to have, things like the original command center set on hand from year 2, and Maya's desk, and a lot of really, really cool original products, or not products, but props and screen use items. So yeah, the original command center, how cool is that going to be, right?
Yeah, I remember how stoked I was in 2014 when, in whatchamacallit, Peterborough, with some of the items that were there, and just, sitting at the desk and everything. And the fact that everything there, it's going to be there, and this year is going to be original. That's pretty amazing. That's really,
yeah.
Really
well, the ASA replica was one thing. It was a beautiful piece of work, right? But this again,
the original we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like Eagle 1 was there, right? As well as the original Moonbase model that's now in the museum, right?
Yeah, and I believe wasn't Eagle 2 there also?
Eagle 2 was there as well. So Eagle 1 and Eagle 2.
Yeah, Andrew had Eagle 2 as well. Yeah.
And the only other one is in Canada.
Yep, Eagle 3. That's wow.
So yeah, no, well, we hope everybody's we're going to have a number of announcements, and like I said, we'll probably have a couple more guests to invite, but we'll have a number of announcements a little more in conjunction with some of the cool exhibits that you're going to see. So we'll be able to get a little more specific as to who's going to be bringing what, when it comes to some of the original puppets and things like that, and collections. We're lucky to have to know very well and have them as our friends, some of these collectors and curators of these pieces, and that have looked after them and preserved them for many, many years, like Andrew, like Jim Winch and people like that. Just grateful that they're all on board and they're going to be helping out with things.
Yeah, Missy just commented and said, amazing to think that anything original still survives to this day. And it is, if you think about it. It's 50 years. It is literally, now it's not even just, year 2 where it's like 48 years, 49. Year 2 is 50 years old. At the end of the year, all the episodes will have been filmed 50 years ago, which is crazy. You're talking a half a century. Wow. It's just insane.
Yeah.
I can't comprehend that. I guess I can, but you know what I mean? It's just hard to digest.
It's harder and harder as the days go by, right?
Yeah, and those aches and pains, I feel them every day. Luckily, I was only 2 years old when the show was on. Shoot. Anyway, but no, it's all good, and it's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what, and you know, of course,
Mr. Roy, stop making me feel
look at that.
Yes.
Look at that. Yeah.
Sorry, Missy. Sorry.
But you know, it's all those original elements as well that it's so exciting that we're going to be able to. And again, here's how, you know, the benefit of having these two separate projects linked, Roy, is that we're going to be able to use all these original things in the short film as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Which has never been done before.
Yeah.
It's
totally cool.
You know, there's been some really good fan productions out there. I mean, even, you know, when you look at Star Trek Continues, it was like the ultimate Star Trek fan series. Right. But I mean, it can't tout to say they used original sets or original actors or original crew. You know, this is again on a different level, and it's only because of you, everybody out there. Just want to stress again, you know, we couldn't have done this without you, but it's just so exciting for the entire community, and I'm just bowled over at everything we're going to be pulling off here. It's going to be very, very exciting.
No, it's a special time for sure. Some comments are coming in, and Chris is saying, hard to believe it's been 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack just said, let's do the time warp again. And Jeff Rubel just said, you two are just pups. You got time. And Marianne just said, lots of laughs. I'm pushing 70. And Chris said, shout out to Phil Ray, who asked most of them before making them available to collectors, and the current owners who unselfishly make them available to others. Thank you for doing that, Chris. Absolutely. Yeah. We are very fortunate because of Phil Ray, and to the collectors who are unselfish in order to have them be shared, because there's a lot of collectors, you know what, a lot of other shows, I'm not going to mention any names, but you know, other genres, and I'll be quick to say, I'm not talking about Star Trek, but I'm just talking about other productions, other shows that you hear about, people that have amassed, you know, an incredible collection. But the problem, what happens though, is the collection pretty much is under lock and key, and it's theirs, which rightfully so. They spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars for them, but it's never to be seen again. So with that said, the money that has been spent by these collectors that are a part of Space 1999, as Chris just said, very unselfish, because, you know, you're talking, it's not just dollars and, you know, cents and or a small amount of, you know, pounds being spent. You know, there's a lot of
what was really established within Space 1999, and this is the unfortunate thing about the sale of Eagle One, right? Because right off the bat, everybody kind of had a feeling it was going away and it would be, you know, never shown again, and it's probably going to come to pass, unfortunately. Right. But it's established a precedent when it comes to the value of these things, and the fact that the remaining collectors are willing to even risk transporting them. Yeah. Right. For something like this is just we're so fortunate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Chris just commented, like Boba Fett, I'm an old fossil. Lots of laughs. Jeff commented, which reminds me, Warren, can you definitely use my alpha building after I get it? Put it back together this week.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, I reached out to Jeff a couple weeks ago. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah,
very cool.
There we go. You know what? You know, Roy, I mean, when we did go to announce that, it's like you and I had spoken about, you know, we're not committing anybody right out of the gates, right? But we know that a number of these pieces are in the hands of some very generous collect, and there's an example of Jeff just saying, hey, yeah, we can go ahead and use his original Moonbase Alpha building. That's incredible. Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. I'll certainly be in touch. We really appreciate that.
Very cool. So yeah, there
Roy, did you find the applause button in StreamYard yet? Because it is there. You can hit it.
That's as bad as a laugh track watching the sitcoms.
I've used it. It's exquisite. Trust me. Just try it once. Just hit that button.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Roy, there's even a gong, so it's like you can even gong and get me off the show if you want. I don't care.
The gong show. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what? I have my phone was going off, and I never do this, folks, but I'm going to do this because I have my dear grade school friend, Joseph Metz. Joe Metz on the line. He's calling me randomly because I called him yesterday. So anyway, Joe, I don't want to intimidate you, but we've got like 14,000 viewers out there right now watching the show as Warren and I are talking about the upcoming Space 1999 convention, and we're talking about the fan film Return to Moonbase Alpha that's going to be in production. But I thought I would just share, just to say that you're out there, in Utah, and you just wanted to call and say hi to me. So say hi to the 14,000 people out there watching, Joe.
14,000 people out there. This is the largest audience I've ever had.
Well, hello, Joe, and I'm one of 14,000. Roy, psst, hint, hint. This would be the time to hit that applause button to make Joe think there's 14,000 people.
If only I could find that applause button that Warren was just talking about, that that all these 14,000 people are saying, hello, Joe. Oh, please don't sing, Joe. Anyway, everybody's saying hello. All 14,000. Anyway, I'll have to get back to you later, but I just wanted to say hi.
Have a good show. Enjoy the 14,000.
Take care, Joe.
Cheers, Joe.
Bye.
I figured tonight's a totally fun show. We gotta have fun.
Have you talked about your buddy Joe? I remember that name, Joe Metz.
Yeah, I've talked about him. He's actually been on the show too.
That's what it is. Yeah,
he's been on with Ross and myself.
Yeah,
Joe is actually Ross's cousin, and
okay.
Joe and I go back to the 5th grade when my parents moved out to this area in '76. Joe was one of my friends. I was in 5th grade. We actually, one of the classes we had, and I think Chris Trice will appreciate this. We had a class on Fridays. It was a 5th grade class. And what it was for an hour, and it was a model building class. So what we could do was we could actually bring models and build models. And I remember having the Romulan, the bird of prey that I brought to the class, and what was it? The Enterprise. Those were the two that I remember. And Joe, I think actually had something from, I want to say 2000. Joe was a huge 2001: A Space Odyssey fan. He loves that movie. And I remember him telling me about it, that he had the opportunity to see it in a local movie theater, that they had shown it on a re-release, obviously, because it came out in '68. But, and this was '76, and it was going to be on television, and he was telling me all about it and everything. But anyway, I am totally digressing here. But he's a sci-fi guy. He's a huge Star Wars fan. And we've been friends. In fact, he was just back in the area for like about 3 weeks ago. And I got to, we kind of reconnected when he came over and stuff. So, yeah.
Nice.
But he lives out in Utah. So I hadn't seen him in 7 years. But
awesome.
Anyway. So, yeah.
Roy, so listen, you better go have your walk.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. But thank you, Warren, for sharing information. We got to talk about the convention. We talked about Return to Moonbase Alpha.
By the way, just sorry.
Yeah, no, please go ahead.
We went into that late pledge phase, and that was going to wrap up at the end of the week. It's actually, don't tell anyone, but anybody out there, this is an exclusive. It's still live, and it probably will be for a couple days. So if you missed the window for pledging, you can still do so. There's been a delay in this next pledge manager thing. So but it'll probably still be live for Monday, Tuesday-ish until that pledge manager can be finalized. And then we're.
Do you want to put the URL in the comments section, Warren?
Yep, absolutely.
Go ahead. Just pop it in there. That way
it'll
direct people to the website.
Right here. Great idea. Yeah, the pledge manager, just so everybody's aware as well, will sort of be the first part of collecting everybody's backer information, so we know where to send all of the gifts and rewards, including email addresses, so we can deliver digital rewards. So be watching for that, and sorry everybody out there. I mean, it's new to me as well. I've been learning every step of the way, but this is kind of also what they call final checkout. So you've likely been billed for your pledge already, but now you're going to see a notice to provide your information, like I said, so we can start sending everything out. And it probably will, if applicable, calculate any taxes that are owed, right? And so just be aware of that as well. That's just something we keep. I mean, that's life, right? But for particular regions around the world, you probably will have to cover some tax. But then the other positive is that you will, at this point, be able to customize your pledge, right? So the add-ons will be listed as well. So you have your main pledge, right? The one reward tier, but now you can customize it. So if your tier didn't include, say, a t-shirt, you can go ahead and add a t-shirt on, or a travel mug, or anything like that to customize your final pledge before that final checkout. So there we go. URL. Sorry, I got distracted.
That's okay. It didn't come through yet, so I just want to let you know. All right, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go to the shout outs real quick. I just want to do that, and then we'll wind down. So folks, this is just going to be the shout out portion of the show, and there's the URL. I will copy that and put that in for the folks so they can see that, and there we go. Whoops, and I think I just sent it right back to you, Warren. That's not what I meant to do.
That's okay.
Anyway, hang on.
If I had an applause button, I'd be hitting that right now.
Yeah, there you go. I'm trying to do too many screens.
Yeah, you're right. I put that in private chat.
Yeah, it's all good. I got it. Very good.
Okay.
There it is. Okay. All right. Thanks. Alrighty. So let me go to the shout outs, folks, and then I will come back. So in regards to the shout outs, first, I want to give a huge shout out to Zyka Toys. I want to give a shout out. Well, actually, first, I want to give a shout out to Anderson Entertainment, to Jamie Anderson. I want to give a shout out to Zyka Toys, which, and also Giant Leap. And that's going to be Craig Owen and Tim Ellis on the release of Eagle 1976. There is so much chatter on the internet in regards to it, and it is just blowing up. So if you haven't had the opportunity to take a look at it, definitely do so. Folks that are waiting for theirs to receive it, this is just an amazing time. Again, 50th anniversary, Space 1999, back 50 years ago. If you were fortunate enough to actually get the Mattel Eagle back in 1976, this is a reimagining of this. And again, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been involved in this project. I first became aware of this, and Warren surprised me actually when we were in London, and for the London 1999 convention, and we got to see the prototype for this, and it was amazing. So Dennis Chevalier is already saying loving his 311 edition. So much love has been put into this, and can't say enough thank yous to everybody that was involved in this project. Andrew, welcome. He's saying hello, everyone from here in Australia. Welcome, Andrew. Great to see you out there as always. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. And then also, too, I will be having on the show in the near future Tim Ellis and Craig Owen to talk about this again. They were on about a year and a half ago, and they will be coming on once their schedule frees up. So that's going to be probably within the next month and a half. So stay tuned in regards to that. Also want to give a shout out to friends Mike and Mary Beth at Sci-Fi Distilled. They are on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and they're not sure what they're going to be covering this Wednesday, but stay tuned. They broadcast on live on Facebook as well as YouTube, and that next date will be Wednesday, May 20th. And also, I want to give a shout out to my friend Bill Scorado for Country Gate Players. If you are in the Belvedere, New Jersey area, come see Country Gate, and they do amazing productions. And the website for Country Gate is www.countrygate.org. Bill's website is www.billscorado.com. And what's next for the 2026 season is the Addams Family Musical. Now, this is done by the Youth Performance Group. This is a youth performance workshop. The performance dates are going to be Friday, July 24th at 7 p.m., Saturday, July 25th at 1 p.m., and Sunday, July 26th at 1 p.m. Tickets, again, are available at countrygate.org. Definitely check it out. And also, I want to give a shout out to our friend Captain Phil from Captain Phil's Planet, WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York, The captain's schedule is on Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. He's also on Friday nights from 10 to 11:30 p.m., except the fourth Friday of the month. So just check out Captain Phil. And also want to give a shout out to my friend John Kenneth Muir for Abnormal Fixation. Him and his group. If you have not had the opportunity to check out this web series, please do so. It is amazing. And season 2 is complete. Episodes 1 through 7 have premiered. And stay tuned for a special episode that will be actually dropping this in the next month or so this spring. And it's going to be called Monstrous Mary. And actually, I don't have a slide for this, but John is going to be coming back on the show just to talk about, we're going to talk about sci-fi and just talk about different shows that we've grown up with in the 60s and the 70s. And I'm really looking forward to that. We just have to coordinate our schedules. But in regards to, before that happens, definitely check out Abnormal Fixation. Again, John Kenneth Muir. It's a love story about the paranormal. In fact, I just had him and some of the Catherine and Alicia and Chris on, and it was a great discussion. It was about a month and a half ago. Also, in regards to Star Trek Original Series Set Tour, if you've not been to the Star Trek Original Series Set Tour up in Ticonderoga, New York, you will want to check it out. It is amazing. And William Shatner returns June 25th to the 28th. And the website address is www.startrektour.com. This is the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, and it is amazing. So with that said, definitely check out the website. I'm actually going to be up there volunteering in next month. Really looking forward to it. There was a lot of cool stuff going on at the set tour. They just did the Kickstarter for the Galileo to have the Galileo land. And in fact, the awards are going out right now. And there's so much effort and care has been put into this project as well. And it's going to be on display September. So stay tuned for that. And also want to get another shout out for Manchester 99. We were talking about that with Warren just a little while ago. Last Sunset. Again, the website address for you to check it out is www.space199950years.com. The dates are September 11th, 12th, 13th of this year, 4 months away, folks. And of course, Return to Moonbase Alpha. Definitely check out the Facebook page in regards to that. We were just talking about that. And again, this is the fan film that is going to be filmed at the convention during the period of the convention, and will be this September. And there'll be more information coming. Warren was just talking about that, so stay tuned in regards to more info. And I want to give a shout out to my son Ryan, Run by Ryan. He's an online running coach service provider. There's no fee for joining his website. So definitely check it out. It's www.runbyryan.com. If you decide to sign up for it in regards to different levels, then there is a charge. But just to participate in the website, it is free of charge. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to my friend and my co-host, Mr. Ross Amico. Ross does 3 shows, and he does them generally on starting with the weekend being Friday. Picture Perfect, which is on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. He also does The Sweetness and Light Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And he also does The Lost Chord, which is on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And you can tune into these shows on the internet. It is at kwax.uoregon.edu. So definitely check Ross out. And speaking of Ross and I will be back next Friday, May 22nd, which is going to actually be Memorial Day weekend or coming up for us here in the U.S. But we're going to be kicking off. We do not know what we're going to be talking about, but I will do another video. Everybody seemed to enjoy those. And I'll give a preview of what we will be talking about. So one thing I should say is the show is not going to be at 7 o'clock. It is going to be at 7:30. So just make sure to mark your time for that. Again, it will be 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and then that will be next Friday. And again, that's the 22nd. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. We are going to be starting a half hour later on Friday nights. When we do the show on Sundays, it'll generally be on at 7 o'clock unless we do something different, and we will announce that as well. And that's it. So thank you, everyone. Warren, any last minute comments or?
2 things real quick. I don't want to keep you again because your walk is very important. You know that. Number one, I think in the shout outs, you should put Ryan first, just because he does some amazing work and he's well deserving of that recognition, Roy. I think you should shout him out first every time. And then secondly, I just wanted to say what a great job on the video that you put together for this episode. Well, a lot of fun.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
It made me smile. So that's about it.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that about Ryan, and I appreciate that about the video. In fact, the video I did on my walk. So
yeah,
it's amazing. It is amazing what you can do on your iPhone. It just blows me away. It's incredible. So anyway, all righty. Well, Warren, thanks for coming on and sharing all the information. I really appreciate it. And folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Amy and Andy, thank you for being out there too. And thank you to everyone else. Thank you for being out there. We really appreciate it. It's been a really fun time. We really packed a lot in the last 2 hours, and I really don't want to go much longer than that. So that worked out really well. So yeah, until next time, again, I'll be posting videos during the week. Have a safe week. And as always, live long and prosper, folks.
Live long and prosper. See you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.